So friends, judges continue to call out and rule against Donald Trump's violations of the Constitution. Let's talk about what Donald Trump is doing to law firms, universities, and 2-year-olds. Because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. Okay friends, first things first, let me address the voice. About a week ago now, I tested positive for the flu, and despite the doc prescribing me Tamiflu and some other things, I have had one hell of a time shaking this thing. The flu ended up hitting me a lot harder than COVID did. But I've received so many nice, wonderful, gracious messages and notes and posts from so many of you asking if I was okay. Many of you saying, hey Glenn, where are the Daily Justice Matters videos? And I really appreciate all of your concern and your interest. So I really wanted to try to get back in the saddle and start doing the daily videos again. But you know, this is going to be a day-by-day proposition, so I hope you'll bear with me through my voice sounding like this. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get to the topic of the day. Because Donald Trump is not acting like a legitimate president of the United States. He's acting like a despot, like a dictator, like a tyrant. I mean, what else would you call a president who intentionally violates the constitutional rights of law firms, of institutions of higher learning, of 2-year-old American citizens, day after day? What would you call that president if not illegitimate? Let's turn to one of Donald Trump's most recent constitutional travesties and a new federal court ruling that calls him out for it. This from NBC News, headline, Trump executive order targeting Jenner law firm unconstitutional, judge rules. And this from a judge who was appointed to the federal bench by President George W. Bush. Quote, this order, like the others, seeks to chill legal representation the Trump administration doesn't like, wrote Judge John Bates. And that article begins, President Donald Trump's executive order against the Jenner & Block law firm is unlawful because it violates the First Amendment, a judge ruled late Friday. Now, friends, I want to jump right to the opening salvo of Judge Bates' new legal opinion and ruling, and then I want to come back to this article and touch on a message that Judge Bates delivers to the law firms that refused to stand up to Donald Trump, the firms that capitulated, that bent a knee, that offered him money in the form of legal services, thinking that it would protect them from Trump's future tyrannical mistreatment. But friends, when you capitulate to a tyrant, like when a kid willingly hands over his lunch money to a schoolyard bully, that doesn't protect you. It further endangers you. Let's have a look at the opening salvo of Judge Bates' opinion in the case of Jenner & Block LLP plaintiff versus the United States Department of Justice et al. And others, defendants. Memorandum opinion. In our constitutional order, few stars are as fixed as the principle that no official can prescribe what shall be orthodox in politics. And in our constitutional order, few actors are as central to fixing that star as lawyers. This case arises from one of a series of executive orders targeting law firms that, in one way or another, did not bow to the current presidential administration's political orthodoxy. Like the others in the series, this order, which takes aim at the global law firm Jenner and Block, makes no bones about why it chose its target. It picked Jenner because of the causes Jenner champions, the clients Jenner represents, and a lawyer Jenner once employed. Going after law firms in this way is doubly violative of the Constitution. I mean, what kind of a constitutional cannibal do you have to be for a federal court judge appointed by a Republican president to say your conduct, Donald Trump, is doubly violative of the Constitution? My editorial addition to Judge Bates' order. His order continues. Most obviously, retaliating against firms for the views embodied in their legal work and thereby seeking to muzzle them going forward violates the First Amendment's central command that the government may not use the power of the state to punish or suppress disfavored expression. More subtle, but perhaps more pernicious, is the message the order sends to the lawyers whose unalloyed advocacy protects against governmental viewpoint becoming government-imposed orthodoxy. This order, like the others, seeks to chill legal representation the Trump administration, doesn't like, thereby insulating the executive branch from the judicial check fundamental to the separation of powers. It thus violates the Constitution, and the court will enjoin its operation in full. Now, friends, let's jump back to the article for just a minute, because it talks about a message that Judge Bates seems to deliver to the law firms that decided to just lay down, to give in. The law firms that apparently thought they could pay their way into the good graces of the tyrant. Judge Bates noted that not every firm targeted by the Trump administration opted to sue, seeming to critique those firms who threw in the towel and agreed to give the Trump administration free legal assistance. This quote from the judge, quote, "Without ever receiving an executive order, these firms preemptively bargained with the administration and struck deals sparing them. The deals largely mirror Paul Weiss's, though the price continues to rise. Instead of $40 million, these firms have pledged $100 million or more in pro bono legal services the Trump administration has a hand in choosing," Bates wrote. And in public statements, the president has floated the prospect of deploying the firms to work on the administration's own projects rather than traditional pro bono causes, while acknowledging the firm's lack of wrongdoing. But you know, friends, it's not just lawyers and law firms that Trump is cannibalizing, trying to punish in violation of the Constitution. It's also colleges and universities. Headline, Judge temporarily blocks efforts to ban Harvard from enrolling foreign students. A federal judge in Massachusetts on Friday blocked the Trump administration's effort to ban international students from Harvard University, an unprecedented and unconstitutional tactic by the federal government as it tries to exert control over some of the nation's most elite campuses. But you know what? Maybe you're not moved by Trump's attempted unlawful destruction of law firms, but I'll bet you are. And maybe you're not outraged by by Trump's unconstitutional treatments of universities and its students, but I'll bet you are. What about 2-year-old American citizens? Remember this headline? Federal judge says he has strong suspicion 2-year-old U.S. citizen was deported with no meaningful process. So friends, to recap, who is it that needs to stand up to the bully, to the tyrant, to the dictator? Well, lawyers and law firms, or anyone affiliated with lawyers and law firms, colleges, universities, students, or anyone affiliated with colleges, universities, and students, and anyone who cares about the rights, the safety, the security of 2-year-olds in America. That's right, friends. Everybody needs to stand up to the bully, to the tyrant, to the dictator. Because justice matters. Friends, it's good to be back. Please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.